Hello, Masters in Public Management. Welcome to Practicum 1, Project Development and Management. Reminders. Listen carefully and attentively. For your attendance, type in your complete name in the comment box below the video, plus hashtag title of your proposed project and make a screenshot. Make sure to save it. Make sure to have your attention to the discussion because there will be possible questions that will be asked, and questions can be in the beginning, middle, or end of the discussion. And after typing and casting your answers in the comment box, make sure to have a screenshot of it. Screenshots will be attached to our Google Classroom as a proof of attending and watching the online discussion. From doing so, the time and the date will appear and I can monitor. Attach it in the label Meeting 003 Project Development Chapter 2. If you have queries, just send a message in our group community in the Microsoft Teams. After listening to the discussion, your group may start crafting the document for Chapter 2. The discussion, Chapter 2, is all about research methodology. What's inside Chapter 2? Research design, local, respondents, instrument, data gathering procedure, data scoring, the treatment of data and the ethical considerations, and along with the references. So make sure the references you had in your chapter 1 must be able to save it, okay? All the data in your RRL, in your framework of the study, must be saved because it will be added, it will be included in the references. Okay, so for chapter 2, first we have the research design. What is research design? Research design can be into quantitative, qualitative, or the mix of the two, which we call mixed method design. So you're gonna ask, as a researcher, how will you approach the research problems? So in this part, you have to, what to include is you have to justify why did you use quantitative, why did you use qualitative, or why did you use mixed method design. So you have to justify here in this research design portion. So for example, let's say you said the research design of this study is quantitative. So you have to support your answer. Justify why quantitative, because so you have to include the description of what quantitative is, or if you use qualitative, you have to include the description of what qualitative is so that it will justify your research design. And any potential threats to validity related to the design. Example, because the types, the quantitative and qualitative, the mixed methods, they have different types, they have different subtypes. So if you will say, the research design of the study is qualitative using, because qualitative has the 3 or more subtypes. So according to the Charuset, Dr. Anil Sharma, there are the different types of research designs, types, quantitative, qualitative, and mixed methods. And under the quantitative, there are subtypes. Could either be experimental research design and the non-experimental or observational. For experimental, we have true experimental design, quasi-experimental, and the pre-experimental. So usually this is used for product development, experimental. And for non-experimental or the observational, which I think usually most of the project development of the Masters in Public Management falls in quantitative, non-experimental, or observational. And it always falls on the descriptive. the descriptive, and then another subtype is the correlational, cross-sectional, case control design, and the cohort. But usually, most of the project development falls in quantitative descriptive siya. Okay. But if you will choose qualitative, pwede naman. Qualitative, phenomenological, ethnographic research, grounded theory, case study, historical, action research. Usually, it's either quantitative, descriptive, and qualitative action research kasagaran ma-fall ang Prac 1 project development of MPM. And also, if you are interested to use the mixed method, triangulation, embedded, explanatory, exploratory, you can still use that. But as a most recommended, it's the quantitative descriptive or the qualitative action research. Okay? So again, in your research design, make sure to identify the specific type if it is quantitative, and if it is quantitative, what quantitative subtype. As I said, usually quantitative descriptive, you can say like that, or you will if you're using qualitative, you will say qualitative action research. You can say like that in your research design portion, and make sure to in order to justify, include the description of the napili ninyo na design. If it is quantitative descriptive, so why? Ano man to? Anong quantitative descriptive man? And if you have chosen qualitative action research, why? So add the description. Okay? Next is the research locale or the environment. What's in the research locale and environment? So you have to identify the geographic region, what specific location your study will be conducted. Okay, make sure to have a screenshot of this as your guide in the making of this portion. And make sure in the research locale, so the geographic region, make sure to ensure the privacy and confidentiality of your research. No names of individuals will be identified here. No schools or organizations will be mentioned in your report in this portion, locale or the environment. So if that school or organization you're trying to focus located in the municipality of Naval or Cabiran, you can actually identify the municipality, and you make sure to justify nganong kaning lugar ang napili ninyo. Okay, description, justify why that specific place ang napili sa inyuhang grupo nga kandakan og study. Okay, so again, justify your geographic region or the locale of the study. Next part is the research respondents. Research respondents, make sure to have a screenshot of this portion. In this portion, you have to describe your target population and the sampling frame. The target population, the whole, and then you will specify how many of that target population will be included in to answer your questions. You need to look for the sample size of the target population. Make sure to include the number of respondents and participants and any limits in selecting participants. Okay, so if your focus is about this senior citizens ra gyud. dili mo touch og lain nga mga participants. And if senior citizens ang inyong respondents, make sure you have the data from PSA kung pila ka buok ang senior citizen nga naa sa Municipality of Naval. If in case your research local of the study is in Naval. So, and then your respondents are senior citizens. So you need to get information or data from the Philippine Statistics Authority kung pila na ang number of senior citizens in the Municipality of Naval. So, mo na ang imyohang target population. Now, to get the sampling frame or yes, the sampling the sample size of your target population, you need to compute. Okay, here, how to compute the sample size? You may use the sample size calculator online. Okay, so the total number of population of the specific participants, and then the confidence level and plus the intervals. Okay, so you're going to use this calculator.net, the sample size calculator. Confidence level, the margin of error, the population portion, the confidence level first. The confidence level is actually here. There are definitions of what is the confidence level here. So this is constant. Okay. And then the margin of error. To get the margin of error, for example, confidence level 90%. Confidence level is when the confidence level is that it contains true result. Okay? Nga ang inyong napili nga participants or target population is accurate, meaning naa sila sa community, makita sila dayon. And usually the most common confidence levels are ang iyong pilion 90, 95 and 99% because you are confident enough that these target population, your participants of the study, are available in the community and will give you a true result. Okay, so going back here, so confidence level, it's either 90, 95 or 99%. And we have to take note that a smaller margin of error suggests that the survey's result will tend to be close to the correct values. So usually, the margin of error are in smaller margin. Okay? So going back here, you have 95% confidence level, and then your margin of error is 5, which is smaller. And then yeah, you could actually either choose like 3, 5. Okay. Margin of error, or the confidence interval is the other term for margin of error, is a way to express sampling error in a measurement or survey. Okay, again, the smaller the margin of error, the result is closer to the true result. And then so you wanted that from your target market, you want 50% participants to answer your target market. I mean your target population. So here, if you are not sure, you will use 50, okay, which is normal. And then if unlimited population size are involved, kung daghan kayo mag clusters, you just leave it blank. Okay, but if you have specific target population to be involved in the study, let's say for example there are 50,000. Let's say for example there are 10,000 senior citizen in Biliran province. So you have to calculate it, and then it will give you a sample size of 370 uh, exact number of participants that you have to cover 370 participants to answer your questions. But if there are multiple or unlimited population size, you can just leave it blank and calculate. So it will give you 385 participants. Okay, I'll be providing this link in the slides, and make sure to take a photo of it so you can use this link to solve your sample size. Or you may screenshot or take a photo of it in your screen. This is the calculator.net, www.calculator.net. I will also add this in the description of the video. Okay? For your research instrument, this is the questionnaire. Okay? It explains what's inside your questionnaire. Okay? Or you can actually say if your questionnaire is adapted from another research, like there are other researchers who already conducted the same research or relevant to your research, you can use the existing questionnaire. You just have to emphasize in your research instrument kaninga portion explained here that your research instrument or questionnaires are adapted, letter A nga adapted, from the study of the title of the study nga katong researcher, and then acknowledge the researcher or the author. Okay? So make sure what you include here is you have to describe and explain what's inside your research questionnaire. Okay? So make sure to take a screenshot of this. Okay, take a screenshot of this portion so you can make a better research instrument. Next is your data gathering procedure. Okay, take a screenshot of this because this is already explained here. Okay, in the data gathering procedure, you just need to describe how will you gather your data. If there are different stages, step 1, step 2, step 3, you describe it here, how you gather your data. Okay? But it should be in a paragraph form. Okay, for your data scoring, so discuss how you interpret the scales or scores on your instrument in general. So for data scoring, sample of this is usually you will going to use the Likert scale scoring method. Okay? Especially if your research is quantitative research. Because if it is quali, pili ka mo gamit og Likert scale. Another method ang imong gamiton. So, they said that usually it's easier to use quantitative because you just you have to like tally everything, tally all the answers, and then you will scale it. If the answer is 5, that is acceptable or not acceptable, and then it's easier for you to identify the result. Like for example, the data scoring. Okay, you have answer of 5, meaning highly competent. So this is about the example, Araling Panlipunan. So here is the example. How will you going to make your data scoring? In order to get the appropriate data, the Likert scale scoring method was used for respondents' efficacy level. Inani. This is about the teaching Araling Panlipunan. So, if the efficacy level of Araling Panlipunan teachers, if the teachers teaching Araling Panlipunan are competent or not. So for data scoring, ingon ani siya. So usually researchers use 5-point Likert scale. Gani, 1 to 5. 5 points siya. It's an odd number, 5 points. And there is an interpretation. So actually, you can easily search Likert scale for different interpretations. Let's say for example, here, once you research, just research in your search bar Likert scale interpretation. Okay? And Likert scale will give you, if your question interpretation, if your answer interpretation wants to be like strongly agree, disagree, naapod siya option na. If your question wants to answer acceptability, napoy interpretation for acceptability. Okay? If your question wants to answer nga not at all, slightly true, moderately true, mostly true, there are options for that too. Okay? And also you can search Likert scale interpretation PDF. You the research search bar will give you the PDF. Like na dito tanan sa PDF ang options sa interpretations, which will be suited to what you are looking for, para di mo maglibog kung ang inyong questions gusto mo answer og strongly agree, disagree, or acceptability pa ang gusto nimo nga ninyong options. Especially if you are using, if you're using quantitative research, okay? In Likert as well, you can have like Likert smiley faces. Kasagaran, if you have encountered in answering a survey smiley faces, emojis, napod tayo Likert pain scale, you can actually just search it easily online. Okay. And there are also like, if your study is about attitude, you can have the Likert 5-point scale about agree, disagree, neutral, disagree. If it is all about quality, you can have excellent, good, fairly, good, poor, very poor, or frequency, always, often, sometimes, rarely, never. Likelihood, definitely, probably, possibly, probably not, definitely not. Okay, so your answers or interpretation is depends on your questions. Okay. Okay, next is the treatment of data. Here, make sure to have a screenshot. For quantitative data, if you pursue on quantitative data, you will describe the steps of the necessary processing of your data here. Okay, and in the treatment of data, you will consult a statistician in order to solve that your data, that the result is accurate and that the result is correct. Okay? Same with qualitative data, including a description of the nature of data and the methods how data will be presented and analyzed. So, after you identify that the answer is in the interpretation of your data from the data scoring, it says na ang answer is strongly agree tanan. Okay? Now, you will going to consult a statistician to justify the data. So, diri na nga portion magamitan ang statistics ninyo nga subject. So, mo na diri mo appear ang average mean, ang pag-compute ninyo sa inyohang after na nag-gather ang data. So, unsang statistical method ang gamiton para ma-determine ang result o to justify that the result is correct. So kasagaran, treatment of data, ang gamiton diri is the average, mean, ANOVA. Okay, depende sa inyong study. But usually, average mean, kung Likert, inana ang kasagaran, which is ang pinakasayon, average mean. So just look for the formula for the average mean, and then you add it here, how to get the average mean, or add the formula of the average mean and also the description that to justify nga nganong mo gamit kag average mean. And on the other hand, kung gusto jud mo nga ang inyong data here are very evaluated and evaluated by expert like statistician, you can actually ask statistician. In the university, natay university statistician which we can tap in the research office. At ang pinakasayon jud nga version na gamiton usually is the average mean. And most importantly, the last part is the ethical considerations. Make sure that before, during, and after you conduct your study, there will be no ethical violations occur. Okay? And that the respondents and participants are protected. So make sure to justify here that before and during and after the study conducted, there are ethical considerations. And I would like to recommend nga, pilian lang dito ninyong pinakasayon nga recommendations that are usually nga gamiton. So for your research design, again, kasagaran jud gamiton is the quantitative descriptive. And then, if magkwali mo, qualitative action research. Okay? And then here in your treatment of data, average mean. And then in your data scoring, Likert. Let me see, Likert scale. And also in chapter 2, make sure you already have to craft your questionnaires ngadto sa inyo padong sa inyong participants questionnaire. So also attach your questionnaires in this chapter. Okay? Simple questions will be okay as long as it is what? If there are questions that are existing online nga pwede niyo gamiton, pwede kayo. Just justify nga this is adapted questionnaire. Or if na-studyan ni before na yung gamiton, pwede ra. And then same, you just have to mention that it is adapted questionnaire from kinsa ang author ato, and then unsa to nga study or unsa to nga topic. And lastly, in this part after chapter 2, you have to add your reference. I-add na siya daan. And then this reference is we are using the EPA 7th edition. Okay? I-click lang na siyang EPA 7th edition. Okay, by the way, this one here, ako po niyapil dito sa ato ang description of the video. Ang link ako ni ibutang, and then to use this, i-copy-paste lang diri ang web page. Ang web page or kaning site, tingnan ani, paste niyo diri, then site. Loading na siya, it will load, and then it will give you the reference. Mo na ni siya. Mo ni ang reference. Okay? Inyo ra nang kopyahon, nga ibutang diretso sa inyuhang references nga portion. Easy, di ba? And that's it. Okay, and going back to the event timeline for project development. So starting September 18 to 23, September 18 to 24, you will going to craft your chapter 2. So you will start now 19 to 24, craft your chapter 2, and then September 25 to October 6, crafting of the concept paper na ta. So once matima ta sa chapter 2, diretso na ta sa atong concept paper. Then the concept paper presentation discussion will be given next Saturday. And before I end this, I would like to share the food for thought. Be open to collaboration. Other people and people's idea are often better than just your own. So do not forget to collaborate in the making of your project. Okay, before I end this, the question is, what is the gap or gaps of your study? Another question is, what is the reason behind why you pick this specific topic of your study? Okay, thank you so much for your time. Your effort is very much appreciated. Thank you so much, and God bless everyone. If you have questions, just ask it in our Microsoft Teams group community. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye bye.